Well, hello parents, it's Matt Loveday here for another parenting moment with you. And this week is Father's Day week. This Sunday we are going to be celebrating and remembering our fathers, our grandfathers, those men of influence in our lives who have deeply shaped and formed us into the people that we are. And I hope this weekend is truly a time of celebration for you in your family. It reminds me of an important truth, that as parents, we are the number one influences in the lives of our sons or our daughters. Now, let me say that again. As parents, we are the number one influencers in the lives of our children. Now, that might be a scary thought because, especially during this time of family quarantine, where we have been spending a lot more time together, we've seen the best in each other, but we've also seen the worst in each other. Am I right? And I hope to encourage us today to avoid a pitfall that I think that we often get into as parents. I know that I do very often. And that is that on those really bad days, when things just don't go right, where everything seems to fall apart, I define who I am as a dad in those moments. So I think, man, that day was the worst. I must be the worst dad ever. And no matter how true it feels in the moment, it's not true. During those moments of struggle, those moments should not define us as moms and dads. But the opposite is also true, right? We can have a really great day where everything aligned perfectly, where everyone napped when they should have, everyone treated each other with love and respect and kindness, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful day. And we can think, man, that was a great day, and it will and should happen again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. But we all know that's not true. We're not going to be able to have perfect days every day. So we can't define our successes and our failures. We can't let those days define who we are as parents. I want to encourage us to take a long-term approach, especially in these days of quarantine. This time, this season will not always be like this. So have a larger view of who you are as mom or dad, especially during these days, remembering that it's over time that we influence and impact our children. You know, in every given year, there's 8,760 hours. And statistics show that about 3,000 of those hours are spent actively with family. So with mom and dad, with siblings, at home. This year, it's going to be a lot higher. But then about 50 of those hours are spent going to church. So families who engage in spiritual practices and go to church, about 50 hours are done doing that. So if this bowl of cherries here represents the 3,000 hours that children are impacted and influenced at home, this apple represents the 50 or so hours that our children are influenced and shaped by church. Now, you'll obviously notice a disparity here. But it doesn't mean as one is more important than the other. Rather, our role as a church then, this is why we focus at North Park Community Church on being supporting, encouraging, inspiring, and mobilizing to you as a parent to use your time to maximize the influence, these 3,000 hours that you have in the life of your son or your daughter. And remember that it happens over time. So be consistent. Think of these hours that you have in the course of a year and let that define who you are as a parent. Not by the highs and the lows, but by how days are lived out over the course of time. Now, parents, let me take a moment to speak specifically to dads, okay? I'm a dad, 3 young boys. Dads, we have amazing influence and impact in the lives of our children. Dad, you are a valued member of your family, and we appreciate what you do, and we love you deeply. And I just want to challenge you and encourage you this year to maybe take a next step in spiritually impacting your family and the lives of your children. You know, there was a Barna research poll done a couple of years ago where thousands of families were interviewed, and they oversized the amount of teenagers they asked. They asked hundreds of teenagers questions about spiritual influence in their home. And in all of the categories that came to spiritual influence, who would you more likely go to pray with, or to read the Bible with, or to ask a spiritual question to? All of those categories, most teenagers went to mom. Now, not all, but most teenagers went to mom. Now, interestingly enough, there were two areas where teenagers mostly went to dad. One, it was for sports-related things, or two, it was for logistical help with money or fixing a problem or managing a difficulty in their lives. Now, these are deeply valuable things to go to mom and to dad too. And I share this with you because, dads, I think we can be challenged and encouraged. I realize that we often don't deserve the bad rap that sometimes that we get. But, dads, we must continue to be intentional in spiritually building into the lives of our families. So I challenge you, dads, this year, would you take a next step of intentionally and consistently speaking spiritually, praying spiritually in your home? Maybe that means that before lunch or dinner, you initiate the prayer a lot more and actually even say it. Maybe at bedtime, you're the one who says, let me read the Bible story before you head off to bed. Maybe it means that when we are allowed to gather together as a church family once again on the weekends, that you get up Sunday morning and you say, let's have breakfast, let's get dressed, and let's go to church because it's deeply important to me and I want it to be deeply important to this family. We can all do this. But dads, let me challenge you in this. This year, take a next step of spiritual influence in your child's life. You'll be glad that you did, because the truth is that you deeply influence the life of your son or your daughter. And I hope and pray that you grow in your spiritual impact in this year to come. So parents, thank you. Moms, dads, thank you for all that you do to parent your children to the best of your ability, the best way that you can, each and every day. Continue trusting God for Him to help you through the ups and the downs of every day.